As training camps are underway, we have found out that a domino has fallen in the free agency market. He goes by the name of Julio Jones. He decides to join Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow. That's major. If this guy can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy. Man. Like, that's major. Oh, man. Wow. All right, so JGoodWithSports here. Look, the Buccaneers just got a lot stronger. I keep saying the word if because, that's what we're talking about because the last couple of years, this guy, hasn't really been able to stay on the field. But, when he is on the field, my gosh, look out. Julio Jones, 6th overall pick in the 2011 draft. The man is a 7-time Pro Bowler. This man led the NFL twice in receiving yards. 2-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, and he's part of the 2010 All-Decade team. This man has 879 career receptions for 13,330 yards and 61 touchdowns receiving. And his receiving average is 15.2 yards per catch. The man is explosive when healthy. Just when you thought, the Buccaneers, might have lost a step here. They did lose a couple of their offensive linemen, which is always pivotal, especially when you have a pocket passer at quarterback that has zero ability to be a dual threat. Defense isn't quite the same. The offensive talent wasn't really there. But now it's a little different. So now you have Mike Evans on one side. You sign Russell Gage, so he just goes into your slot now. Julio Jones on the other side. We know Chris Godwin is recovering from the ACL injury that he suffered late last season. Lenny Fournette is there. The Bucs are poised to make a run, at least one more run for Tom Brady. It's crazy because it's like, when Tom Brady was in New England, it seemed like the perception was that man didn't have anybody to throw the ball. And for the most part of his career in New England, that much is true. Outside of Gronk, outside of Randy Moss, who are we talking about? Wes Welker. Wes Welker was, he was decent. In his prime, he was definitely decent. But talent-wise, he wasn't on par with the talent that he's playing with now in Tampa. Julian Edelman, those two probably outworked a lot of people, but talent-wise, they're not on the same level at all. When Tom instantly gets to Tampa, we talking about Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. He had Antonio Brown at one point. Gronk decided to come over. They already had Cameron Braid. And, Leonard Fournette joins them. When they only had Ronald Jones. Antonio Brown, he joins them. And Julio Jones now. And Russell Gage. Now it's like, if they're going to go out, they're going to go out swinging. They're going to go out with a bang. They're going to apply a lot of pressure if Julio Jones can stay healthy. Or more so, maybe Julio Jones is there just to, put a Band-Aid at that position until Chris Godwin comes back. Maybe they don't expect Julio Jones to play a full 16. Maybe they just need him to play like 10 to 12 games. Get 10 to 12 out of you, and then Chris Godwin comes back. I don't know, but what I do know is Tampa is right back in the thick of things for sure, along with the Los Angeles Rams. I still give the slightest edge to the Rams. I mean, they are champions. Yes, they did lose Von Miller, but I mean, I feel like they gained some talent on offense with Allen Robinson. You get a more healthy Cam Akers back. So the running game is going to be there. You get continuity back with Matthew Stafford. I mean, he was only there 1 year. I mean, that 1 year was magical, but now he's one more year embedded in the Sean McVay system. Got a happy Jalen Ramsey and a happy Aaron Donald. They make the rest of their teammates a lot better around them. Ask Leonard Floyd. So yeah, the Rams are still the top team for me in NFC. Tampa's right there. Depending on how good, Aaron Rodgers is to elevate the rest of his teammates now without Devontae Adams. I mean, they pain for me to say this, but I mean, they could be back in the thick of things. The Eagles, I mean, a lot of people are very high on the Eagles this year. I mean, I do believe that they are favorites to win the NFC East, just by additions by them and subtractions by the Cowboys. I don't believe in the Cowboys at all this year, but who knows? Who knows? And if we stay out west, I mean, the Niners, but that's basically Trey Lance or bust at that point. There's, Jimmy G's days, they are over. It's just a matter of when he'll get traded. And that's the crazy part. Jimmy G, he took that team to 2 NFC Championship games, took that team to a Super Bowl, actually had an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. He just missed Emmanuel Sanders downfield with under 2 minutes left in the game, wide open. I'm pretty sure that would have put the dagger in the Kansas City Chiefs based on the way the Chiefs were playing that game, because the Niners defense was showing up. It took, a miraculous fourth quarter out of Mahomes and Tyreek Hill to turn that thing around, because it was painful to watch them at that point. But Jimmy G did that. Jimmy G's a winner. I know at times I give Jimmy G a lot of slack, because I believe he is the same quarterback as Ryan Tannehill, and he is the same quarterback as Baker Mayfield in regards that, hey, I need a running game to be successful. I need to be reliant on play action for me to make the throws I need to throw. For me, the problem lies is it is a quarterback-driven league. If your quarterback cannot win you games, your team is irrelevant. You can have all the pieces in the world. If you do not have a quarterback, you're really not going anywhere. Now, the Niners, maybe somewhat of an anomaly like that, because they were relevant. I'm just not, you just can't count on Jimmy G to win you a game. And that's probably the reason why that they decided to move on from Jimmy G. We see a lot more upside in Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a dual quarterback. Trey Lance may have a bigger arm. Trey Lance can create plays. Trey Lance is a lot younger, and right now a lot cheaper. So that's probably their way of thinking. And if he doesn't pan out, they just gonna, die on that hill. They gonna stand on that hill until there's no more. So they already made up their mind. So it all depends, on Trey Lance, on his improvement from year 1 to year 2. Because last year in preseason he was sensational. The couple starts he had last year in the NFL during the season, that was blah. So we'll see there. The Arizona Cardinals, my gosh. I believe last time we was talking about, Kyler Murray possibly being overrated and the schedule they have to go through. I just don't see it. I don't see them as a playoff team at all. At all. So that's that for me. Going back to the NFC South, the New Orleans Saints. That's the sneaky team right there. That is the sneaky team. Michael Thomas, MT13. He's actually back on the field. That's a great sight to see. Only thing I'm really curious about, besides Jameis Winston recovering, is what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara. Because for those that, don't remember or need a reminder, at the Pro Bowl, him and his entourage was stumping a guy out and around the elevator. Yeah. And so there's supposed to be some type of, hearing or legal action or case or whatnot in August. So we'll find out more then. Apparently the NFL is, definitely have their eye emoji out on whatever happens with Kamara there. So, personally, I probably do expect some type of suspension there. Just not a good look. That's not good optics for the NFL, and we know that. But yeah, I'm just curious to see what happens there. But, the Saints defense is legit. Continuity is there. They moved Taysom Hill back to tight end officially. You signed the Honey Badger. That team is good. They are sneaky good. And I would say one more team that, and this is painful again, that can be a sneaky team in the NFC, the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings. Oh, man. So, the reason why I say that is because, they still have the same quarterback. I call him Mr. Empty Calories, as you know him as Kirk Cousins. The reason why I call him Mr. Empty Calories, because he'll put up all these stats, this beautiful stat line, and they're so meaningless because they end up losing the games. He just, just putting up numbers just to put up numbers. Still got Dalvin Cook, who's been injury plagued here the last couple years, but when he's healthy, when and if, those are my two favorite words today. The guy is sensational. Still got one of the better tandems in the league, wide receiver wise, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. The biggest difference is their head coach, Kevin O'Connell, who used to be the Rams offensive coordinator. So I expect this Vikings offense to be a lot more dynamic. They used to be run-based. Remember, I just said a few minutes ago, when I was talking about, Jimmy G, Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, I feel like Kirk Cousins is the leader of all that. However, I still feel like Kirk Cousins has, the biggest upside as far as the ability to put up the numbers, because I've seen it before, because he's empty calories, but more so on a consistent basis and more so actually have meaningful stats with it now. I think Kevin O'Connell can actually unlock that ability for Mr. Kirk Cousins. Like I said, this pains me to say this. I am like, I don't even feel happy about saying this whatsoever. But, I mean, real is real. The Vikings. Keep your eye out on the Vikings. So, yeah, so at this point, as far as the NFC, I know my Bears will be the Bears. I don't expect too much from them at all this year, but I'm just hoping that my team can actually be competitive. Like, if we go 5-12, fine. I just want us to be competitive in these games. I just don't want us, out the 12 losses, 10 of them are blowouts. I just don't want to see that. We lose, fine. Lose by like 3, 5, 7, 1. Just keep it close. Like, show progression. Play hard. Play for your coach. Play like you belong in the NFL. That's all. That's what I want to see. So, the only thing I'm really curious left, which goes back to the 49ers, which I kind of talked about already, Jimmy G. Where's this man getting traded to? To me, there's only two logical destinations. One is the Seattle Seahawks, which is within the same division, which, is more than likely not going to happen. But if I'm the Niners, I would consider doing it, but you're going to have to give me a king's ransom, because that means I have to see this man twice a year. And if Trey Lance doesn't pan out, I still got to be reminded that we had Jimmy G and we let him go for a guy that didn't pan out. So I would definitely offer a king's ransom. The man, 31? 32, 31? And, as a quarterback, you still got at least another 6-7 years at this point. So that's still quite a while to be a very productive quarterback. If he stays healthy. And then the only other team that kind of makes sense to me would be the New York Giants. I mean, I don't know how, I guess, Brian Dable feels about Daniel Jones. I mean, this is it for him this year. Like, either you come to play or you're not coming back next year. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, which who would, based on his play? I mean, for crying out loud, last year, the wide receivers on the Giants had a total of 5 receiving touchdowns. That's embarrassing. I mean, that could be a head coach problem, an offensive coordinator problem, but I'm still throwing blame at Daniel Jones for that one, too. There's no way in the likes of Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, that you only get 5 receiving touchdowns out of that group. I expect that's something from the Baltimore Ravens. Or even my Bears to a certain degree. But not to the Giants. Not like that. Come on, man. That's embarrassing. So, yeah. Those are the only 2 destinations. I mean, you can't bring Jimmy G back. I give, kudos to Kyle Shanahan for being very transparent about it. He's always been very transparent about, controversial stuff. So, he made it known. He made it known to Jimmy G, made it known to Trey Lance, and keep it moving. So, yeah. But, yeah, going right back to the topic one last time, Julio Jones joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My gosh. I mean, that's a future Hall of Famer right there. Playing with a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. Playing alongside of probably another future Hall of Fame wide receiver, Mike Evans. It could be scary hours for the NFL. It could be. If he stays healthy. Oh, man. All right, you all. this is it for me today. Training camp continues to get underway. Next week, we got the Hall of Fame football game. Just to see, them guys back on the field with pads and helmets on, tackling and making passes and running the ball. Fans going crazy. I miss that. But, continue to rock with your boy right here on the No Offense Radio app and the No Offense Network. Also, check me out on social media. JGoodWithSports, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Check out the podcasts that I'm on, 3 of them. JGoodWithSports podcast. The Early Morning Sports Talk podcast resumes again. I want to say August 13th. And the Destination Fantasy podcast for fantasy football. We will start again Sunday. But until then, you all have a blessed one. Peace.